What's going on, everyone? This is Joe coming back to you guys for another video. That was a really cringe opening. I'm really sorry about that. And please don't mind my hair. I didn't really want to do anything with it for this video. It's kind of messed up, but just don't look at it. Just don't look at it. Guys, for this video, as you probably saw in the title of the video, we're going to be going to Amazon, looking up The Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, book number 1 in the 5-book series. We're going to be looking at bad reviews on Amazon. Now, it's kind of hard to find these bad reviews. They are few and far between because most reviews are 5 stars because the book is so great, but some reviews are not that great, and so we're going to go look at those and tell you guys what's going on with them. I'm basically doing this so you don't have to, and I'm doing it for your enjoyment. So you should thank me. Go into the comments and say, thank you, Joe, for looking up these bad reviews so that we can have some enjoyment out of them. Thanks. All right, let's get to the first review. I don't know who this one is from because I forgot to screenshot the person, but we're still going to read it.
It's odd. Percy is picked on, yet I couldn't sympathize. He wasn't characterized deep enough for me to worry about. Or maybe it's because he accepts his lot because he doesn't know any better.
What does that even mean? Accepts his lot?
As the plot deepens, Percy learns more about his background, gains a few friends, and is sent on a quest to stop a war. What war?
What war? Are you kidding me? What war? What war? If you've read the Percy Jackson series, you know what war.
The ones the bored immortal gods will take part in?
Yeah, that's the war. The war with their parents, the Titans. Yeah.
There are only 3 main characters in the story, yet it's all about the plot, the action, what's happening, and very little about them. Goat Boy Grover is nervous, fearful, a small, beaten-down satyr. Annabeth is even less described besides dreaming up ways to achieve their objectives. Who knows what she looks like besides wearing a beaded necklace?
Who knows what she looks like? Are you kidding me? Blonde hair? Gray eyes? This is in every single book. Are you kidding me? This is one of the most important plot points is what Annabeth looks like. This review is it's so maddening.
They're bitter, feel they're unfairly treated, and like Percy, accept the poor treatment as normal. And don't get me started on the odd groups of kids at camp, the bullies and groupies, the uncaring counselors, and lack of learning. Was there ever a sit-down class with instruction? Was it more than games?
You know, it's clear that this person didn't read the whole series or grasp any of the concepts in the series at all.
It's hard to believe this group of 3 with a 12-year-old leading them can travel across the United States coast to coast and survive. No money, hunted by monsters. Yes, this is young adult.
It's not young adult, it's middle grade.
But also fantasy with a huge topping of disbelief. Not a scratch from all those fights. Maybe because this was written years ago and is similar to Harry Potter that it became popular. Who knows, I've read young adult quest stories with better drawn characters.
I have nothing to say. Let's go on to the next one. This one's called Great Plot, Lazy Writing.
My nieces and nephews love this series, so I jumped into it to see what the fuss is about. I understand that not everyone can write Harry Potter, but this book felt like exposition held together by lazily built characters. It limps along with retellings of the stories of Greek gods, but doesn't give much freshness to the story or bring anything new to the realm of fantasy storytelling.
It doesn't bring anything fresh? Are you serious? The whole story's fresh. Fresh characters, fresh retellings of old Greek myths. Everything's fresh. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, main problem with this book is that the target audience is preteens. The continuous underlying narrative of bad people as old, fat, ugly people. Not only is Percy's stepfather ugly and smelly, he's called Uglione.
That's false. He's called Ugliano. So you're not even getting names right in the book.
There's also the never-ending quest to save the Western world. Seeing as the book is based in America, the utter lack of black or Asian characters is jarring. But then again, it goes to show a lot about the gods' preferences. The only mention of Africa is in relation to starvation.
I think Rick Riordan wrote more diversity into his later books. But, you know, I'll admit, I kind of get this review for saying there's a lack of diversity because it's true, but there's nothing that can be changed about it. The books are already written. Let's go to the next one. Oh, here's a good one. It's titled Misleading.
I've never left a review before, but here I am because I don't think I have ever been so angry to have received a package in the mail. This book is advertised as having the original cover, you know, the one I'm looking for. Unfortunately, I paid $36 for a book that is indeed, to me, worth the suddenly new and improved price of $6. Great. Pro tip for everyone who seems to be doing this, please depict the cover art you are actually selling. I'll be returning this and going back to the drawing board. 1 star because the book itself is in very good condition, which is nice. Objectively, too bad I'm not keeping it.
I need to say something. That book cover that you saw in that picture is actually an amazing book cover, and I actually prefer that book cover to the original book cover. So dude, leaving the review, you should be happy that you got that book cover. And I know that review wasn't about the content in the actual book, but it was still a funny review. Here's a good one from Gabriel.
Not a good read for an 8-year-old. Maybe older kids will enjoy it more. The book has many disturbing words, too scary for my 8-year-old girl.
What? That's really your main takeaway, that has disturbing words? I don't really think it does. I mean, it has kill, sword, violence, Aries, mad, zebra, lion, lotus, camp. These aren't that bad of words. Here's one from Samantha Lucas. Good story, but felt rushed.
As a casual fan of Greek mythology, the plot and the subject matter were very intriguing, but the first installment in the series definitely read like a middle school teacher's first book to me.
You're literally telling the truth. This was Rick Riordan's first middle grade book, and he literally was a middle school teacher before writing this book. You're quite literally telling history as it happened.
The book is already almost 400 pages long, but there were several chapters that could have benefited from more detailed scenes, especially the action scenes. That being said, I do look forward to continuing with Percy Jackson's journey, and we'll be reading the rest of the series.
Good for you for reading the rest of the series, and for your information, the action scenes are great. I agree they could have more action, but I heard that Rick actually got complaints from editors and publishers that wanted to publish his book that there was too much action. So if he got complaints about too much action, he might have cut some back. And for that reason, there's less action. But honestly, I think the action scenes are fine. So I don't know what you're talking about. Here's another good review from Amber. It's all right. Just all right? Just all right? You're looking at the best series in modern English. Just all right? Sad.
This book hasn't really captured my attention at this point. I got this for my daughter for a school book report, and I think she has been enjoying it, but doesn't seem very swept away with it at this point either. I think it will pick up as we get further into the book.
You are correct. It does pick up and it gets a lot better. So keep reading, Ember. Keep reading. It's a really good book. Here's one from Gazelle. Not a crossover book. Oh, really? It's not a crossover book? Did you expect it to be? Did anybody say it was a crossover book? What's your problem?
Harry Potter is so well written that adults enjoy it as much as kids. I don't have kids and don't normally read kid fiction, but I love HP so much, and so many people seem to love this book. I thought I'd give it a shot. If you're like me, a grown-up thinking this might be an American HP, don't bother. The writing was so simplistic it was distracting. I don't expect sophisticated sentence structure in a kid's book, but this was really playing to the lowest common denominator.
Well, Rick Riordan was writing for middle grade kids who were like 8 years old, which is only a few years after they've started reading, so yeah, the writing is simplistic to cater to those people.
Plus, the author really doesn't draw the reader into what's going on inside Percy. He goes through trauma after trauma with nary a paragraph given to his subsequent emotions as evidenced by his playing Pinnacle after an extremely traumatic event.
He's playing Pinnacle because Mr. D is insensitive to little kids coming to camp. That's the reason. Mr. D, Dionysus, hates campers, and so that's why he's playing Pinnacle, and he asked Percy to play because he doesn't care about Percy at all. That's not Rick Riordan's fault for writing it. That's Mr. D's fault for... I guess Rick Riordan wrote Mr. D, so... Okay, yeah, it's Rick Riordan's fault. Fine. Fine, you win.
I got to about a quarter of the book on my Kindle and gave up. I was bored and couldn't have cared less about any of these thin characters. Riordan may be popular, but he ain't no Rowling.
You're right. He's better than Rowling. I see what you did there. Oh wait, that's not what it meant. Oh. Well, I think he's better than Rowling.
A note on Kindle formatting. I didn't find any errors. Formatting was very professional, and there were even little lightning bolts at the beginning of chapters. If this review gave you information that was helpful, please feel free to click the yes button below.
No, I'm not going to click yes. I'm not going to click yes. Sorry. I'm not going to click yes for a bad review. Gosh. And then we have our last review from Gabby, and this one just says, disappointed.
I had really high hopes for starting the series. I had heard it was really good, and the Amazon reviews were reassuring. It is in a genre that I really enjoy as well. However, the book did not live up to my expectations. I had heard that this book was similar to Harry Potter, and that was a big plus for me, but upon reading it, the similarities were too great. The entire beginning of the book seemed like a copy-paste of Harry Potter. Kid with strange abilities finds out he is something special and part of a world that is kept secret from regular humans. Kid is sent to a place where kids like him hone their abilities and are kept protected from the outside world. Kid finds out he is even more special than all the other kids and must go on a quest that only he can do to save the entire world. The two stories were so similar it frustrated me.
If you're going into this wanting a story to be like Harry Potter and like wanting a better story, you're not going to find what you're looking for. But both stories by themselves stand alone. They both have the same structure, but they have so different characters and character development, character arcs, and like world, even the worlds are different, you know, Greek gods versus wizards and all that stuff in the wizarding world. Like, so the stories are similar, but they're not the exact same. And I actually like Percy Jackson more than Harry Potter, so it's really your preference, but I still say Percy Jackson's better.
The narrative style was a bit irritating. Listening to Percy's inner thoughts was a bit ridiculous. He just isn't very smart and makes the same mistakes over and over, and it seems this happens just so exciting things will occur once he gets himself into trouble. Maybe I'm just a little too old for this book to appeal to me.
I'm 23 and I still find the books appealing, so I don't know, unless you're older than 23 and you're really old, you're probably not too old to read these books, but I can see why some stuff may be upsetting with Percy making mistakes, but, I keep saying but, that's part of his personality. He keeps making mistakes and he learns from those mistakes and then he grows through them. That's really good writing.
The Greek gods weren't really very familiar to me and they seem to just be thrown in willy-nilly like name dropping. I think the gods and mythos of the story could have been better explained.
No, I don't agree with that part. I think the gods were in there a good amount. Yeah, they were name dropped, but they were name dropped for good reasons, so it was done in a good way. There we go. Those are 8 bad reviews that I found on Amazon for The Lightning Thief. I had fun reading those. Go ahead and let me know what you guys thought about those down in the comments, if you agree with them or if you really disagree with them. And also let me know if you want me to do a video with the next book in the Percy Jackson series, The Sea of Monsters. You know, going on Amazon, looking up the bad reviews. I think that'd be really fun to do as well. Maybe we can do the whole series. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.